You're listening to the Valued Podcast with Shayne and Luke Wyler. Where are you leading? In today's episode, Luke and I are going to explore that very question. And in doing that, we are going to help you discern your vision and understand what place vision has in terms of being a valued leader in the lives of those that you lead every single day. So here's our conversation on vision and answering the question, where are you leading? So today we're in the studio and we are going to be talking about vision, how to discern your vision. And as we already said, really answer the question, where are you leading? So Luke, how's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
Good. Okay. So let's just dive right in because this is something that we've been chatting about for a really long time. I've been thinking about for years and years and years. And there are some really key things that we need to unpack here so that everyone listening can really figure out how does vision fit in with being a valued leader. So the three things we're going to talk about today are, first, we're going to define vision and compare that to the other pieces of this puzzle that we're putting together in this series on how to be a valued leader, and more specifically, the lead framework that we teach to help you be that valued leader. And vision is the second piece of that. Last episode, we explored how to clarify your purpose. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to define vision and how that fits into the puzzle. Secondly, we are going to really talk about how to actually go about fulfilling on your vision and what is the fulfillment of your vision. And then lastly, where does vision fit into being valued as a leader?
Mm-hmm. And how it relates to purpose and doing what you're meant to do, because without vision, people perish.
That's absolutely right. Without vision, people perish. Keep that in your minds as we go through this. That's the key in terms of vision. That's why it's an essential part of this puzzle, because without it, you're going to get lost. You're going to end up in the mire and the muck, and you're just going to get lost. And so that vision really ensures that no one perishes along the way as you're leading them forward into whatever you're leading them in. So where are you leading? All right, so let's define what your vision is. How would you define vision?
Vision is where you're going. It's the direction. So as you step out and fulfill your purpose, your vision is all that brought to fruition. And so as you know what your vision is, it allows you to clearly see what your purpose is in completion, and that gives you somewhere to aim for. So as you walk out your purpose and do what you're meant to do and fulfill what you're supposed to do, as you step into the opportunities and live out your purpose, it gives you somewhere to aim, because you really know what your purpose fully realized is supposed to look like. And so it allows you to be able to know where you need to end up. And so if you know where you need to end up and what that needs to look like in its ultimate fulfillment, you'll know kind of how you need to go about fulfilling your purpose.
So as we explored last week, your purpose is why you're here. Your vision is really where, right? So we have why. If you'd listened to last week's episode, we gave you the questions to ask in terms of how to uncover and unearth why you're here. Now vision is where that leads to, because even if you know your purpose, you're standing there and why you're here, the next logical question is, okay, well, where's that going to lead me? So as you're asking someone to engage in having that need fulfilled in their life, their natural question is, yeah, okay, sure, that would be awesome to have that need met in my life, but where's that going to lead me?
For sure.
It's your vision that really answers that question for you and for them, so that, as you said, Luke, you know where you're leading to, and you can communicate that clearly to everyone else that you're asking to come along for the ride with you.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the key things that we need to delineate here is vision, purpose, mission, goals. All of those get intermingled all of the time, and they're really separate pieces of the same puzzle. and they each have their own function within helping you being a valued leader. So purpose is why, vision is where, mission is how, and your goals are really tools that you have along the way to help you fulfill on all of that. So often what happens is people set vision statements, or they set a vision, or they say, hey, I had a vision. Really, it's a goal. Really what they're talking about is a goal. So here's some key things to understand and help you discern, am I looking at a vision here, or am I looking at a goal? So the first thing is that once you clarify your purpose and then you understand and discern your vision, you're going to see that that vision never actually needs to change.
Right.
Very different than goals. Goals change all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Goals are meant to change all the time, because as you fulfill on that goal, you just set another goal and you move on. Also, as you step out to fulfill on a goal, you learn new stuff, you tweak that goal, you focus it in, or you abandon it completely because you realize it's actually not leading you to where you need to go.
Absolutely. And within that, just some key wisdom is that your vision is knowing what it's supposed to look like at the end of the journey. It's seeing the big picture of, what it looks like when you get there. And so it kind of gives you a finish line to aim for, so you can see that destination, see everything that is within it, and kind of know what you need to do, what you need to put in place to get to that spot. Because if you can see all the elements of your purpose fulfilled, then you know what to put in place in order to have that achieved. Whereas goals, those are tools that you can utilize to better yourself so that you can walk the path, so that you can go through the journey to get to that destination. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have the strength to make it to that destination, then you'll never be able to completely fulfill your purpose and achieve that vision, right? So if you can't get to where you're meant to be, then there's really no point in walking the path. And so a goal is a tool that you can use to better yourself, make yourself stronger, so that you have the ability to actually get there.
So you've said a couple times about a vision helps you know where to aim. So one of the analogies that I've used over the years is the analogy of standing in front of a bullseye. So a target with this, with this red bullseye, and standing there with his bow and an arrow and aiming at that bullseye. The bullseye is your vision. The reason you're standing there is your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So it's exactly that, Luke. You're standing there for a particular reason, which is your purpose, to fulfill on that purpose and answer the need in the lives of those that you're leading and serving. And you're aiming at that vision, at that bullseye, every single time you step up to fulfill on your purpose in the calling, in the places where you're being called to fulfill that, where those targets are. But every single time you step up, you're aiming in the exact same spot for the exact same thing. That's your vision.
Absolutely.
You may have goals on how you shoot that arrow, or where you shoot that arrow, but
how fast you can shoot it,
right, given the different elements and the circumstances in which you find yourself in. But what happens a lot of times is that we end up shooting that arrow and missing the vision completely.
Yeah.
But in that, you learn, okay, so what do I need to tweak? What do I need to hone in on and shift? Those are goals at work, helping you aim and hit that vision no matter what's going on. A lot of us, what we do is when we get lost in goals, we end up shooting at other people's targets, or shooting at other things, not even realizing that we're shooting for the wrong things.
Absolutely. And we do that because we know we can't just step up and shoot nowhere. When we're living life and doing what we're meant to do, if we're not doing that for a purpose, if we're not doing that for a reason, if we're not walking a path to get somewhere, you can't really walk the path, because if there's no end, there's really no reason to walk. And so we instinctively just look for any destination we can find. Within that, it's key definitely to focus on the destination itself as opposed to the path, because if you're focusing on the path, then you're really going to fall out of alignment with doing what you're meant to do, because you're just going to be doing, you're just going to be doing certain things, and they're probably not even going to be what you're meant to do, just because, at the end of the day, you don't really have a choice. You have to do something in your life. And so if you're not doing what you're meant to do, you're going to be doing something. But if you're not aiming for the right place and trying to get to the destination that's yours to get to, then you definitely won't be doing what you're meant to do and walking on the path to get there, because the only way to the place where you're meant to be is on the path that you're meant to be, doing what you're meant to do. And so if you lose track of the destination, the where you are going, the vision that you are aiming for, then you will fall off the path and you won't be doing what you're meant to do anymore.
I had a friend once tell me that really, in order to know where you are at any given time, at any given point, you actually need 2 points of reference. And so in this context, your vision is one point of reference, your purpose is the other.
Absolutely.
Because as you can imagine, if you're standing there looking at a marker, 50 miles, who can see 50 miles away, 50 yards away, without that second gauge, you have no idea if you're actually lined up to it or not. So as you have that vision in sight, lined up to your purpose and why you're here, then you're able to, as you said, walk the path, but not, have your head down and go, am I on the path? Am I walking where I'm supposed to be walking? As you have that in alignment, you can trust that the direction in which you're walking and the path on which you're walking is actually moving you in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually one of the other key things that's different about vision and goals. So imagine I came to you, Luke, and I said, okay, Luke, we are going to set a 3-year vision. So, the vision that we are going after up till now has been great, but, we've sort of achieved it, or some things need to be changed. So we're going to set a new vision for the next 3 years. What kind of an experience is that for you?
It's definitely very unsettling, because it tells me that, there's no ultimate destination. We're just walking from point to point. And as leaders, as a company, as an organization, as a team, that really destabilizes us and kind of throws me off the steady ground, because now, if things get hard, I don't have a solid bedrock reference point anymore, because there's no more ultimate destination. I don't have anything to hold steady to when things get uncertain, because, by saying that, you're telling me that we can really end up anywhere, and that's okay.
Okay, so same situation. I come to you and I say, okay, Luke, we're going to set some goals for you for the next, year. What kind of an experience is that for you if I approach you with that?
Well, for sure it feels different, and, it could even just be because we've come to understand the wisdom and the difference between these two. But even just the actual terms themselves feel very different. And so when you tell me that we're going to set a new goal, goals are kind of cumulative. They build on each other. So just because you set a goal to be able to lift 100 pounds doesn't mean your goal to be able to lift 200 pounds is a brand new thing. Those goals kind of build on top of each other. So as you set more goals, they're kind of just getting higher and higher and higher and building you as a stronger person. They are not a destination that you're aiming for. They're just something that can, give you more strength and stamina to be able to walk that journey properly. And so if you tell me that we're going to set a goal to launch 100 more products than we did last month, that doesn't change where we're going. And if things get unsteady, if things get unstable, it doesn't matter much that we didn't sell 100 more products than last month. I still have the firm anchor of, that bigger picture, that ultimate destination of that vision. And even though we didn't achieve the goal, it's okay, because the goal wasn't the most important thing. And we're still on the path. We're still walking the path. We can keep working at that goal until we get it. It's not a big deal. It doesn't throw us off in any way whatsoever. The other thing is that when you have a vision to look to, and you keep the vision most important, you keep the vision at the forefront, and those goals are just secondary tools that help you get there, then it really helps you to be able to discard goals after you've started them if they aren't helping you. And so, when you set a goal to do something, at first it can seem like it's a really great tool and it's really going to help you get to that vision. It's very easy to tell if that goal is stopping you from getting there. And when you're focused on the vision, you can tell if you're getting closer or farther from it. And then you can get rid of those goals, change those goals in order to, really get to that vision effectively.
If you set a vision that's not anchored in your purpose, who knows where you're going to end up? And if you're doing that, you're more than likely, just as you just said so well, you're setting a goal. And so all of a sudden you're clinging to this goal. We have to realize this goal because it becomes the most important thing.
Absolutely. And when you don't hit that goal, everything falls apart around you.
And it doesn't need to, just as you said, because if you have your focus in the right place, which is, here's why I'm here. And that fulfillment of that is my vision, which is the second point I wanted to talk about today, is that your vision, and you've already said this earlier, your vision is your fulfillment of your purpose. So as you're standing your purpose going, this is why I'm here, where's that going to lead? It's going to lead here, and I'm focused on that. Then the goals can change, just as you said. But if you don't anchor your vision in your purpose, if it's not the fulfillment of your purpose, you are setting goals and it's all going to fall apart, like you just said.
Absolutely.
Because as those things change, goals are meant to change. As they change, not only do you get lost, but everyone that's following you is now lost. And now you got to do all this work to get them back and build that trust. And most leaders can't do that. Right? They lose their opportunity to be the value leader that they need to be because they've lost trust. They've lost trust. They've lost confidence in themselves. Others have lost confidence in them. And as we've talked about this in previous episodes, the villain of this whole story of you realizing your purpose and being the value leader is doubt. As soon as doubt gets in, you got to fight so hard to get it out.
Yeah.
And that's why understanding why you're here and then figuring out where you're leading in that demolishes doubt. There's just no room for doubt in that because you're just so grounded in this is why I'm here and this is where this leads. Mm-hmm. Who's with me? Mm-hmm. So we've defined vision. We've clearly helped paint the picture that your vision is a fulfillment of your purpose, and so that your vision needs to be anchored in your purpose. And if it's not, you can easily go astray because you're following goals, not visions. And so goals become this massively important thing that when they change, everything falls apart. So those are the first 2 points. The third point is vision actually has a place in being valued. So what is vision's place in terms of being a valued leader for those that you lead and serve?
Without having a clear, steady vision, those who follow you will perish. All those around you in the story, they'll quickly sink under the tidal wave of uncertainty and panic because, when everything you do is centered around trying to fulfill goal after goal after goal for no reason, it quickly becomes meaningless. And then as soon as you don't hit that goal, no matter how small that goal is, it's the end. Like, everybody's thrown into a panic. Everybody gets lost. Everything that was important to you goes out the window, all because you missed a goal. And now you can't step into the next goal because goals are cumulative. Whereas when you have vision and you focus on that vision and you keep that vision forefront, you can really just use goals as a tool to help you get there. And if you don't hit that goal, it's not a big deal because you can just kind of gauge and ask yourself, is that goal really important? Is that goal actually what we need to get there? And if so, do we need to change it a little bit to help us get there more effectively? And if we don't need to change it, then we'll just give ourselves a little bit longer to hit that goal. And, it's really life-changing because when you focus on when you focus on the ultimate destination, it really gives you hope that no matter what happens in your story, no matter how many plot twists there are in your journey, there is somewhere great, there is somewhere beautiful that you are going towards. And no matter how hard it is to get there, no matter how rocky the journey is, no matter how bad it hurts now, there will be a perfect destination at the end. And once you get there, you will look back and feel satisfied knowing that you fought the good fight to get there. And it is definitely very grounding to know in the moment when it gets hard that you will make it out the other side, because there is a destination waiting for you. And no matter what, as long as you stay to the path and do what you're meant to do, you will make it there.
Vision's place within being a valued leader is simply where you're leading. If you don't know where you're leading, you are going to all instinctively start to focus on what you're doing. Just like you said, in terms of the path, you're going to start looking at, okay, where are the rocks? Where are the obstacles? Where's my way through this? And you're going to start to focus on the what in terms of getting through that. If you end up focusing on the what without understanding where you're going and why you're there in the first place, you could end up in the wrong place. Vision is there for you to help you fulfill your purpose, so that everything you do, the what's that you do actually are aligned, getting you to that end destination that you just talked about. Otherwise, how much of our lives are just spent doing busy stuff that leads to nowhere, and we end up at the end of that road going, that was all done in vain. Like, what did I do that for? What did I waste all that time for? How many people go to school and end up not doing any of what they went to school for?
It's so true.
How many people go on a job and go, wow, I just wasted 5 years of my life in that job?
How many people wake up every day, and every moment of their day, from the time they wake up to the time they fall asleep, is consumed by tasks that give no return? Like, you'll do all that and never see any return for it. And maybe you even are helping people. But if you're not helping them in the way that you're meant to help them,
leading them to where you're meant to lead them to,
you won't see any return, and they won't care at all. They won't value anything you do, no matter how hard you work. No matter if you get up every single day and spend every ounce of energy, every second of your life serving them, they won't value it at all.
So at the end of the day, the problem really is, where are you leading? You got to know where you're leading and how to communicate that to others. You don't have to work very hard to get buy-in for a vision like that. What it's going to do is it's going to draw in the right people right away. And those that don't want to be a part of it, you're going to know. And that's okay, because there's a vision that they're supposed to be a part of. And so it takes out all that emotional messiness when we, as we talked a couple episodes ago, how we need to make things personal but not take it personally. Coming from that place enables that to be a reality so that you can make it personal, because when you hear a vision that's planted and aligned to a purpose, you know if you're a part of it or not.
So in all this, I think it's important to remember that without knowing where you're going, there's no foundation to stand on as you do what you're meant to do. If you do something, but you don't know where that's leading, you won't have the inspiration to keep going, and you won't have this steady ground to stand on when it gets hard. And if you don't know where you're going, you won't know whether or not you've actually gotten to where you need to be. And if you don't know what your destination is, you'll keep aiming for pointless things that have no meaning. But if you know where you're meant to be, then you will know exactly what you need to put in place and what goals you need to set and fulfill in order to hit that. If you don't know where you're meant to be, then you will continue to pursue void and empty things simply because you don't know where you're meant to be. But knowing where you're truly meant to be will give you the inspiration to face any obstacle, no matter how hard, and to find the strength to overcome that because you know that it'll help you get to where you need to be. And when you know where you need to be, you'll be willing to overcome anything that you have to. You'll be willing to accomplish any goal you need to get there. And as you keep where you're going first and foremost, you won't get lost in the distractions because you'll know exactly where your purpose is leading to.
Leadership is hard, which is why the Valued Podcast is here for you. Realize your purpose and be the valued leader you need to be everywhere you go. So if today's episode blessed you in any way, please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Then head over to wcompany.ca to see how our on-demand courses and live events teach you how to be valued in all your key relationships at home, work, in your community, and beyond. Thank you so much for listening. Let's get you valued everywhere you go.